It's a long time. And so we stayed here, took care of our kids, raised them, and 40 years later, I realized that it wasn't a matter of was she going to live or not live. She was pretty much like David's son. She was going to die, and how was I going to handle it? You know, and I determined not to be bitter, but to be thankful for the time I had. So I began to pray that God would bring somebody into my life that would be a blessing to me and help me with the things I'm involved with. I am a real estate agent, so I sell property. We have land starting up through here, so I get on tractors and we farm, and then we've got grass ground, which means I run cattle. And then I've started pastoring this little church, which is a new venture for me. So there are a lot of things that we do. We also have an auction service, so we auction personal property and real estate. We do collectibles. We do all kinds of stuff. And so we're tremendously busy. I just began to pray, God, help me survive this dating game thing at age 60. Because whether you realize it or not, there are, it's a whole different ballgame. And when you become available, people make themselves available. It's something that you don't anticipate. And Nell's mother died about the same time Rosemary did. And so I'm friends with a Catholic father in town, and somehow he mentioned me at Nell's presence at her mom's funeral. And so on the way back to Kansas City, she called me. The interesting thing is, when I went to that little grade school in Juanita, some 47 years ago, when I was in the 8th grade, Nell was in the 7th grade. And we hadn't seen each other for 47 years. So when she called, she just said, this is a name out of the past. You know, I'd forgotten about you, but Father Val mentioned you. You don't need to return a call. But in my heart, I thought, is this the one that God will provide for me? You know, that will solve some of these issues of loneliness and issues of remorse and grief, you know. And so I think the book that's never been written is what's an appropriate time to wait after somebody dies before you date anybody or have any relationship. And unfortunately, some of you someday will remember this conversation. And I just want you to know there is no wrong time. And it's what's in your heart, and it's what God provides for you. So don't fight it, and just let God provide for you as you need to. I called Nell on the phone, talked to her, and went to see her and said, would you marry me? And so we got married on February the 14th this year, right in front of that pile of rocks, and said, here we are. Cancer has a tremendous effect on people. 2 years ago, when one of the writers was here, and some of you may know who it was, he had a necklace that was the port that he had fought cancer, and he had made a necklace out of it. You remember?
I do.
And
You remember?
do you remember?
Probably.
Yeah. Well, interesting, but that really spoke volumes to me. And so one of the requests I made when Rosemary died was that they would save her port for me. Your friend's port was stainless steel. Rosemary's port was plastic. It was her life beat. Every 2 weeks we went to Tulsa. It would take 5 days of chemo and a couple of days travel time. So every 2 weeks I was gone a week, you know. And because of that, our farming got behind, my jobs got behind, my whole vocational and career things just kind of went on hold for a few years here. And it cost just a little under $4 million to treat Rosemary. And I'm not saying that by any way of regret. I'm thankful I had what insurance I had. Insurance is not the answer. It takes a lot of resources besides that. Rosemary and I had decided we didn't have a savings program, and I'm not suggesting that to you, but we had decided that we would just buy more land with money. So we bought land, and we had decided that if ever we needed it, we'd sell land. And so it was time to sell land and cover debt. And that's a hard thing to do if you are a landowner. But we sold land, and then I had to make some adjustments on just the way we operated. We had a cow herd, and we raised calves. We had to sell that cow herd, and that's extremely hard to do. I mean, you don't think you're attached to things, but you are. And so we sold our cow herd, we liquidated things. We changed our whole operation around and reduced a lot of things. But what happened to me was a lot of priorities in my life. God has really dealt with in my age, you know. And I just want you to know, you could get trapped in the things that hold you for years. But this last year has really freed me up from a lot of things that I thought were important. And I look at things a lot different now. And I'm thankful for Nell. She has a lot to deal with me. Just in who I am and coming into my world, coming into Rosemary's home, and all those kinds of things. So the cancer thing, you're doing a lot of things besides research. You're helping people deal with the whole strategy of how do I survive if I'm a survivor. You know, I kept Rosemary's report. I laid it on my sink. I never even told Nell what it was. But I would look at it and look at it and look at it, and I didn't know quite what to do with it. But I realized that that was a part of my holiness that I had to give up. Just a few months ago, I said goodbye to the port and said, it's a memory, there it goes. You know, no necklace, no nothing, just years of an adjustment. So, you know, I really appreciate you stopping here and being a part of this whole effort, you know, to fight cancer. It's just good to see you, and I think you're strong and you're good kids, and I hope that you have high ideals. I hope that you have established some things that you will not do. And if you haven't, while you're pedaling, you need to make a list. I will not do this, and I will not do that. And you ought to have a list of 4 or 5 things that in your life you will decide, I will not do these things. And it will save you a lot of heartache. Those things will be personal. You may not even want to share them with anybody. But I really believe that God speaks to us in our hearts. And He helps us academically understand things. And there will be some things that you shouldn't do. My mom told me this one time. She was a very smart lady. Smart, practical-wise. And she said, Johnny, just remember this. Sometimes, in moments of rebellion, you can make lifelong decisions. So, you know, you want to be careful, kids. Some things you don't want to do. They could put you in a spot that you don't want to be for the rest of your life. So, as you're pedaling, not only are you working for other people, but you God will teach you things on this trip that you won't learn any other way. So, another year, I hope you will come. I wish you could come and stay all night here. I'd love to have you. Nell would love to have you. We would take care of you.
You can stay.
Yeah. I wish that it would work that you could come to our church and be at church. People would love to have you. They would take care of you. So as you plan next year, if it works out, great. I don't want to disrupt anything you're doing. But if we're a water stop, that's fine. You know, just whatever. But thank you so much, and enjoy. You don't have to leave. Stay as long as you want. Leave whenever you want.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yep.